Iran has been enriching uranium.
The NPT treaty, to be very much precise, allows everybody to use the uranium-235 for peaceful purposes.
Israel and the Western countries have no proof, no official confirmation that Iran is going to use this nuclear energy for destruction.
The terrorists crossed their borders. Almost 1,200 civilians lost their lives.
Israel cannot justify its retaliation by killing lakhs of people in Gaza Strip.
The organization that built itself from the ashes of war to make decisions is now completely silent. 20% of the global oil supply is being controlled by Iran through the Strait of Hormuz.
Both of these countries are spending hundreds of millions of dollars behind war expenses per day.
When oil flows like blood, the world counts dollars, not lives.
We protect often ourselves not actually from the threat, but from the fear of the threat which might arise.
Should we have nominated him for the Peace Prize if we already have this space in on us?
Wait. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you also thinking what I'm thinking?
Relax,
Everybody,
guys.
just let's take a deep breath. And this is a playful script. The discussion which is going to happen after this is completely, and again, this is the disclaimer which we have been reading out left and right, it's our personal opinion, not meant to harm anybody's sentiments, whether it be human sentiments, religious sentiments, political sentiments. There is a lot of legal jargons, so we do not wish or not have any desire to just cause any harm to that. Please join us on this conversation as we follow the recent happenings. The highlight of this year perhaps is the Israel-Iran conflict, and join us on this episode where we as Gen Zs express ourselves. As per the latest updates standing today, the war which started from June 13th, 2025 and which went on till June 24th,
Wait, Shonogda. Describe it in a more informative way for the viewers.
Yes, give us some introduction.
Yes.
My extreme apologies. Actually, the topic which we are dealing with is very much sensitive, is of utmost importance, and also might shape this decade or even this century to come as we see it. And as such, I'm not afraid to admit, hands down, I am scared about how to deal with this topic. But the topic which we are referring to, I believe most of you have guessed, is the Israel-Iran conflict. The war which started on June 13th, 2025 and which actively went on till June 24th, I believe, as per drop here, June 24th, 2025, has affected the global supply chains, life of millions of people, and has also caused economic disruptions. And in this episode of Get Set Talk, we deal and we delve deeper into that topic. So let's start with the podcast. But first of all, I want to ask all of you one question, which is in the minds of all of our viewers, which is in the mind of everybody. We deal with what is happening, what will happen, and the common rhetoric goes around, but we forget one very important thing which we've failed to realize is, why did this war happen?
Shonogda, I believe the rising nuclear tensions, particularly.
Nuclear tensions.
Of course, because for the past few years, we know that Iran has been enriching uranium. That is one of the most significant components to build nuclear weapons. And simultaneously, since it runs in a comparatively ambiguous situation, it's leading to global tensions.
Using nuclear energy isn't forbidden, right? Because as per all of the guidelines of the international organizations which govern how nuclear energy is being used, the NPT treaty, to be very much precise, it allows everybody to use the uranium-235 for peaceful purposes, for progressive purposes, for developing one's nation. But most important thing here is the peaceful purpose part. So why did the conflict arise is one of my questions. But on this note also, I would like my friend Ritika here to give me a timeline as to how the events did shape out.
Sure. On June 13, 2025, Israel carried out airstrikes on Iran's nuclear bases without international approval, which is actually a breach of international law and should not have been done. And Iran has signed the NPT, and it allows Iran to use nuclear energy for peaceful purposes.
Yes.
And Israel and the Western countries have no proof, no official confirmation that Iran is going to use this nuclear energy for destruction.
What about when we talk on this schema of things, and again, Shubhranil here mentioned the allegations of Iran using the nuclear weapons also. But why are we assuming in this context, and mind you, we are not taking sides of any government whatsoever. We firmly believe in our own stance, the stance of our own government is that there is no alternative to peace and discussion, and human life is very much important above everything else.
Definitely.
Is why are we assuming Iran will use it for nuclear purposes?
From the past few years or past few decades, we know that the relation between Israel and Iran has been quite bitter. And when I say rising global tensions, it actually means that when Israel comes to know the fact that now, we say in our daily life that the rice is cooked, and we cannot make it to its present state when it's not boiled.
Revert back to its original state.
So, in this way, Iran's rice is almost cooked. It's ready for nuclear weapons. And when Israel comes to know about it, that's where the point of global tension rises.
So, on this note, when we are talking about all on this side as to why probably Iran has reached the breakout phase, as you were saying earlier, what are the alleged injustices being done by Israel on the people of Gaza Strip?
See, firstly, every country has the right to defend themselves. Firstly,
Agreed.
Israel don't want to recreate the 7th October 2023 scenario because the terrorists crossed their borders, came into their country, and they took the children and women into their camps, and they killed themselves in a very bad manner. Almost 1,200 civilians lost their lives. So they don't want to recreate that because Iran has a radicalized leadership. So they don't have any guarantee that the nuclear will go into their hands. So firstly, that is the main reason that Israel don't want to recreate such things in a very similar manner.
See, Israel cannot justify its retaliation by killing lakhs of people in Gaza Strip. The children have become homeless. The hospitals are being bombed. It's against humanity. It's against peace.
Yeah, see, Israel is too much confused at that point of time because they don't know that whether the humanitarian program was going on. Yeah, obviously they did a mistake that they bombed several missiles on the humanitarian programs that were coming all across the world. Obviously, there is no point of supporting that. But they were really confused. How sure are they? Because they don't know that whether the supports were coming to the Hamas, or they were not sure about it.
And I believe this is where precision strikes come into play. Like even
Yes.
when we talk about this recent happening which happened right in our borders, even the government of India laid an emphasis on precision strikes.
Yes.
As to no innocent lives, whichever country, state, religion they might be, whichever affiliation they might have, no innocent life should be lost. But the question which arises now as to why is this war happening now means what I want to highlight is when an official says, when they are guessing or estimating that Iran is building up their nuclear arsenal allegedly again, why strike now? Why not probably 3 months back? Why not probably 6 months back?
It's like an alarm clock is ticking at the right time and you press the snooze button.
Right?
Iran is ready with its weapons, and the attacks being done by Israel is actually a snooze button. It's almost like it's almost like more than attacks or weapons is the smoke that is being ushered by on the scenario.
I believe that's also what's the common human nature dictates us. We protect often ourselves not actually from the threat, but from the fear of the threat which might arise. So again, this war with the Middle East being involved is having its rippling effects. because we can talk about the economical side of things. We can talk about the side of things because Iran also supplies oil.
Like in our daily lives, when two siblings fight in our homes, what do the parents do? They watch silently? No. But the organization that built itself from the ashes of war to make decisions is now completely silent. The United Nations. And why silent? The veto power. And it's very significant to mention this because the veto power comprising of UK, US, China, France and Russia on the maximum basis stands by Israel. The Gaza attack, when the UN faintly took a decision to declare ceasefire, the veto power completely denied it.
And I believe all of our viewers also have to be given this information. There are permanent bodies in the United States Security Council, just giving the context. And any resolution which has to pass through United Nations has to pass or be approved by the permanent members of the Security Council, which are the countries which Shubhranil here mentioned.
The global leaders are basically watching silently, waiting for the other to take the lead. But who is suffering in all this? The civilians.
Yes, the innocent
Children.
people.
Every country is claiming that they are winning. Israel is saying they are winning. All the big countries are saying that from their side they are winning. But the ones who are losing are the normal civilians. They are actually
Again, in a fight between the elephants, it's the
Yeah.
grass that dries.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the grass that's trampled upon.
Those who
And
have no say in these decisions, yet every reason to fear it.
it's not again directly about all the people who are being attacked or affected by the bombs and all of the precision strikes or the strikes which are being carried out on normal, but it's also about, in this context again, I'm going back to the economical side of things,
Yes.
is the middle class. Like Iran here controls the Strait of Hormuz. So that has got a large supply of oil coming up.
Yeah, coming back to this portion shown of that, 20% of the global oil supply is being controlled by Iran through the Strait of Hormuz. And now, if in this difficult situation, Iran blocks it, it would lead to shooting up prices more than 50 to 100%.
And oil impacts all of us, right? Like oil prices shooting up. We all know. Like then the price of goods rise up.
Yeah.
The inflation rates increase. The
Yes.
purchasing power decreases. And again, it's not the super rich who are affected. It's the middle class. But let's move on to another segment which I want to highlight. At the present moment, mediated by the United States, and again by President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary Marco Rubio, there have been a ceasefire between Israel and Iran at the time when we are recording this podcast. But here, Shubhranil, what do you think? How much longer will this ceasefire last?
After the attack of Israel on Iran at Fordo, it's one of the most significant nuclear chambers at Iran, but it is 80 meters deep under the ground.
Very deep under the
Very
ground.
deep under the ground. So it's not brutally destroyed to a greater extent. It's still in progress. And as I said, it's actually a snooze on an alarm clock.
Yes.
After a certain interval of time, it would again start striking. Actually, what happens, when war becomes a part of the routine, humanity is rare. More than 1200 students in India itself are pursuing their career at Iran. Now imagine a mother making a video call to her daughter or her son, neither asking about whether he has eaten sufficient food or not, he has slept or not, but he's survived the war,
Whether he is alive or not.
alive or not. It's such a terrible situation to work upon too.
And here I would also like to applaud the extreme efficiency which the Indian government has undertaken, setting up helplines, setting up plane routes and everything. And also, like where all of the Iranian airspace has been blocked, only India at the present moment, again as I'm mentioning when we are recording this podcast, India has the ability to take its students out of Iran back into the safer shores here in India, in their own country. Here, what we have been highlighting throughout and as direct themes also, is we forget the human scheme of things. What do you think is the human cost of war? Because here is one point I would like to highlight, is one statistics which I was reading through, is both of these countries are spending hundreds of millions of dollars behind war expenses per day. What if this money was spent on education, What if this money was spent in healthcare? What if this money was spent in uplifting the lives of people in both of these countries, spending these large chunks of money to improve the lives of their own citizens, of the ordinary people, as we've been highlighting?
When oil flows like blood, na, the world counts dollars, not lives.
When oil flows like blood,
The world counts dollars, not lives.
it counts dollars.
Actually, because see, me and you, we are shaking hands above the table, and below the table, lives have been lost. Nobody is worried about it.
So far, this has been a pretty interesting discussion so far to this extent.
Yeah.
But again, this is such a vast topic that it can't be covered in one episode. All of us have had to discuss, and all of us have been tense as to how to deal with this very much sensitive topic, because it also falls upon us, the youth, to deal with it in a manner which doesn't affect the sensibilities of anybody around. And again, I'm reminding, this is just our own personal opinion, but most importantly, the next schema of things will be explored further in detail on the part 2 of the Israel-Iran war episode on Get Set Talk podcast, which is by JIS Group, and there our friends will be dealing in the next episode by the global impact, largely the global impact of the Israel-Iran war. And please stay tuned. We are here from Team Get Set Talk on behalf of JIS Group. Thank you.